Next game, we have let's dive right into the squeaker that we had. I laughed when I saw this score. What was it, like 19-0 or 19-3 or something like that?
Yes, it was.
And I couldn't. I just laughed because I'm just like, this was not supposed to happen. It was It was 13. It was 13-0 is when I saw it, and I just was cracking up. Is the Cowboys barely losing to the Pittsburg Steelers. So the Steelers eventually won the game 24-19 with like a minute left in the game. They scored with like 2 minutes left in the game to take the lead for good. And the Steelers looked like they were struggling moving the ball against the Cowboys, with the Cowboys outgained them in the game 364-355. So, Jimmy, I ask you this. Are the Cowboys a quarterback away from winning their division?
Technically, yes, because that division is so poor in the sense of not only just win-loss record, but just watching the teams play, and we all know that they're not very good, especially when you put them up against teams in other divisions. So technically, yes, because I've said up and down throughout this entire season so far that Dallas has one of the most talented and one of the most well-paid rosters in football. So I think technically, yes, and I think you asked that because of how the team looked with Garrett Gilbert as the quarterback, as opposed to Ben DiNucci or even Andy Dalton, for that matter, in my opinion. Obviously, they're not going to look as good as if they had Dak, but there was a bit more fight in this team. There was a bit more extra belief in a sense. And I think that first touchdown pass, that maybe his only touchdown pass that he threw to CeeDee Lamb, I think is what invigorated the team to actually believe that they could knock this team off. Now, at the same time, the Pittsburgh Steelers, kind of like the Bucs, they've been showing us that they're not as dominant as people think, because they've had some squeakers in there as well. The game against the Philadelphia Eagles, 3 weeks ago, that was one that they could have lost. They could have lost and probably should have lost this one. And I think there was another one in between those two.
It's two of them.
Yep.
The Titans, they won by 3.
Yep,
and then
3.
the Ravens, they won by 4. They actually were losing just that entire game.
Yeah, and it took them 4 turnovers just to be able to win by 4. So this team, I mean, they're on the edge. Yes, they're really, really good. Yes, that defense is good, and Mike Tomlin is as good of a coach as he's proven to be. But they aren't as dominant as people think. So when they come up against a team like this and the Cowboys, who's giving that last bit of effort before they're done trying this season,
right,
and you've allowed teams to stay in games with you for whatever reason, then it's really no surprise that the game ended up this way, or that they were down by as much as they were.
Yeah, I was really surprised. Like I said, when I saw the score, everyone that we took them, it was from 14, was the point spread in this game, and it was the perfect letdown spot. I mean, if you look back on it, they played the Ravens, and they played the Ravens tough, and the Ravens, in a way, if you think about it, it really exposed. They exposed the Steelers for who they are on the offensive side.
Yeah.
A team that's easily rattled, easily thrown off if you mix up your schemes going at them. That's what I saw coming out of Baltimore. Like you said, it took 4 turnovers for them to even win the game. If Lamar controlled that and got rid of 1 interception and one fumble, Ravens win that game by 2 touchdowns. And they probably are going to win the next matchup in Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football on Thanksgiving. Yeah. Thanksgiving.
The week of Thanksgiving?
No. Oh, so 26.
Thanksgiving night. Yeah.
26. So Thanksgiving night.
Yeah, they played that game before. Yes.
Yep. They're going to Ravens are probably going to win that game. There's no reason for them not to win that game. Yeah. So I'm looking at this as Pittsburgh, we have to pay attention. We're going to watch you more. We have to watch everything you're doing, because you're not supposed to be playing this bad. Your defense is still stout. I mean, DVOA wise, what Pittsburgh is number 2 defensively, 14th on offense, though. Their offense isn't as fluid. Juju Smith-Schuster's costing me a lot of money in my fantasy league because he, for some reason, can never catch passes, which I get now. Everyone is honing in on him because he is the number 1 guy, but the other guys are now starting to show out. So hopefully it takes pressure off of him. And I don't know if James Conner knows what team he's playing for half the time, because on my fantasy team, he doesn't want to put up any points for me, and I'm going to get off the fantasy portion of it. But overall, like in this game, he had 9 carries for 22 yards.
But you know what this shows you is that when you look across the entire NFL landscape, when you look at Seattle, the teams that are thought to be among the best, they all have problems. Seattle has problems. Tampa has problems. The Saints have had problems. Pittsburgh has problems. The Chiefs barely squeaked by Carolina yesterday.
Yep.
It's like you're really looking at the I guess, at the landscape as to where it is right now, you really can't tell exactly who's the best team, which I think is good because that'll make the playoffs more interesting. But every week when we go ahead and crown a conference champion or Super Bowl champion, they turn right around and look like anything other than that. And that's what the Steelers are showing me too.
I agree. The Packers did the same thing to me on a couple of occasions.
Packers, yes.
Yeah, the Packers, we thought that they were like, Aaron Rodgers is back. He's doing his thing. And then he started throwing pick sixes to the Buccaneers. So you're right. We don't know. I mean, of course, we knew this. We knew the Seahawks had issues. Their biggest issue is that their coach, which we can transition into them really quickly. The Seahawks, their biggest issue is that Pete Carroll relies heavily too much on Russell Wilson to do everything. His defenses are really bad. The schemes aren't going very well, and they don't have any pass rushers. It's either him or the general manager. One of the two of them got to figure out how to get them away.